fantasy football fix. Jeff, how are you? Are you still alive in any one of your leagues in the playoffs here?
Well, let's just say I'm leaning a lot towards daily fantasy right now.
Okay, sore subject. Okay, well, we can move on here. Rams and Buccaneers tonight. Any must starts? I know I got Todd Gurley on my team. Any one of those players in tonight's game a must start if you're still alive in your fantasy football playoffs?
I would lean towards Mike Evans because Vincent Jackson is out. So I think that's probably the one player I look at. I think Doug Martin's a solid option. But St. Louis could have some interesting motivation because this could be the last game for the Rams in St. Louis.
Okay, so you would, I mean, if you have a Todd Gurley or, I don't want to say Tavon Austin even, but I guess Gurley would be the only guy that you would start from St. Louis at this point?
Yes, he's the only one I'd be confident in. And I would put him in if I know that I'm going to be sweating who I can pick out for 2 running backs on the weekend. I would put Gurley in now and see where I stand.
All right, Seattle running back situation. I guess they're on their 3rd guy this season. What should owners of Thomas Rawls or even Marshawn Lynch at this point of the season, what should owners of those players look to do? I mean, are you trying to pick up Bryce Brown? How about the Seattle running back situation, Jeff?
It's kind of a mess. I would lean towards picking up Bryce Brown. They've picked up a couple other guys that really this week is really a patchwork. I think the Seattle running back position this week is the guy who's going to fall on a fumble in case Russell Wilson drops the ball because it's all going to be about Russell Wilson. He's going to throw. He's going to run. This could be a week where he has 300 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, and just run all over Cleveland. The only stopping that is if it gets to be a blowout in the second half.
All right, more injuries from the running back position. Jonathan Stewart, he's out for that Giants game against the Panthers. Also, LeGarrette Blount with the Patriots, he's done for the year. How about those two guys? Are we looking at Mike Tolbert if you're emergency? How about the Patriots running game? Brandon Bolden are you going towards, or James White?
I would lead towards Brandon Bolden in all situations. He had over 15 carries last week and saw a lot of the bulk of the work. And against Tennessee, with a big lead, they're supposed to be ahead by 14 points. I see Bolden getting a lot of the workload there. That would be the guy I would pick up. Carolina's way too murky, and we know down the goal line they lean towards Cam as well. Fozzie Whitaker is going to probably be the guy between the 20-yard lines, but you got Cam Payne and you got also Mike Tolbert that are going to be in the mix. So I would avoid that. If you're going to pick one guy, it would be Whitaker, but I wouldn't expect a touchdown out of him this week.
All right, Jeff Pasquino, footballguys.com, fantasy football fix here. Steelers and Broncos, no touchdown passes for Big Ben last week. Well, when he doesn't throw a touchdown, that means Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown, Marcus Wheaton, those guys aren't getting into the end zone. A tough matchup for Big Ben and the Steelers passing game this week against the Broncos. How about this game, Steelers and Broncos? Are you trying to sit some of these guys, or are you just going to run with Big Ben in that passing game?
Well, at this point of the year, if you're in your playoffs, I think you've got to go with your studs. So Antonio Brown has to be a start, even though it's going to be a very difficult matchup. But I do agree that it's going to be a tough game for them. I think a sneaky play would be Heath Miller over the middle. Denver against tight ends is probably their one weakness, if anything. But this game's going to be very interesting. I think Denver's defense has been driving that team all year long. They're looking at Osweiler if he can actually get him to help. But he had a ton of wide receiver and tight end drops last week. I think Denver's going to step up on offense and carry this game a little bit more. But I think the Steelers are going to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. I think they're going to run D'Angelo Williams some. They can move the ball to the tight end.
All right, text board questions here for Jeff Pasquino. Jeff, should I start C.J. Anderson, Brandon Bolden, or Darren McFadden?
McFadden's way too risky for me against the Jets. I would lean towards Bolden.
All right, Alex Smith or Eli Manning, Jeff?
Good question. I like Alex Smith. I think that Kansas City has got a great matchup this week. I would lean towards Alex Smith.
All right, this guy's in his champion. This guy made it to the Super Bowl, his championship game. Big Ben versus Denver, who we just talked about, or Blake Bortles against the Atlanta Falcons.
It's kind of hard to stomach doing this, but sometimes you just have to do it and trust your numbers, which is Blake Bortles, Jacksonville. Atlanta has given up. Jacksonville cannot run the ball. They're in the second running back. Blake Bortles is your top 5 quarterback this week.
All right, another Brandon Bolden question. He was a popular pickup the last couple weeks. Who should I play, Brandon Bolden, Frank Gore, or James Starks in a PPR league?
Starks in a PPR league is kind of interesting, but I would lead towards Bolden. I think Bolden is going to get the bulk of the work, and the most likely of those three guys to find the end zone.
And another text on the text board here. Should I continue to trust T.Y. Hilton and or Emmanuel Sanders, or is it the backup quarterback that's really killing the season for those two guys?
I think both those guys, they'll get theirs. I like Hilton more than Sanders this week, though.
All right, Jeff Pasquino, footballguys.com. Your plays this week, Jeff, are?
I think you've got to go with all the big guys against the big favorites. I think you got Adrian Peterson's right at the top of the list. David Johnson, top running back. Wide receivers, you're looking at the big point spreads. Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate. I think most of your guys on Monday night. Tight end, my sneaky tight end is Vernon Davis. I think Vernon Davis got 7 catches last week, and he's going to look pretty solid again this week. I like Kansas City as well to put up a lot of the passing game.
All right, Jeff Pasquino, footballguys.com. Thanks as always, Jeff. We'll talk next week.
Excellent. Enjoy the games, everyone.